Stallone's first movie, The Party at Kitty and Studs, a softcore adult film from 1970. He was flat out homeless at the time, sleeping in a New York bus station, desperate for cash. He got paid $200 for 2 days of work and later straight up admitted it was either do that movie or rob someone. That's how bad it was. His career didn't start with dreams. It started with survival. But then came the Lords of Flatbush, and that's when things began to shift. The movie was a hit, and so was Stallone. Not just for his performance, but for helping refine the script. People started to see he wasn't just a tough guy. The man could write too. And then came Rocky. Not only did Stallone write the script, he did it in just 3.5 days after watching the fight between Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner, a complete underdog who took Ali all the way to the 15th round. That grit, that heart, that was the blueprint for Rocky Balboa. But writing wasn't the only thing he was good at. Stallone's performance hit just as hard. And for the final fight scene, he went even further. He took a real punch from Apollo, something he asked for, and ended up in the hospital with a swollen face and cracked ribs, all for authenticity. And if you think that was the peak of his hustle, just wait, because in Rocky 2, Stallone wasn't just the lead. He was the writer, the director, and the one proving everyone in Hollywood dead wrong. See, after his directorial debut, Paradise Alley, failed cataclysmically, Hollywood was convinced that Stallone was a fluke, and so did his success with Rocky. But Stallone didn't just prove this wrong in Rocky 2, but also made everyone in Hollywood take him seriously, and not just as an actor, but also as a filmmaker. Because in this movie, he was the director, a star, and scriptwriter at the same time. Now, Rocky 2 already proved Stallone wasn't a fluke, but Rocky 3? That's where he went full beast mode. He wrote, directed, and trained like an absolute maniac. We're talking 2.8% body fat, shredded like an action figure, running on egg whites and rage. He even called up Survivor and personally asked for something powerful. Boom, Eye of the Tiger was born. And in the ring, he took real hits again. Got knocked out cold by Carl Weathers during filming and still kept going. But Rocky 4? That nearly killed him. Literally. Stallone told Dolph Lundgren to hit him for real, and he did. One brutal punch to the chest sent Stallone's heart slamming into his ribcage. He was airlifted to the ICU and spent 8 days in the hospital. Doctors said it was like getting hit by a truck, and yet, he came back and finished the movie like nothing happened. And by the time First Blood Part 2 came around, Stallone cracked the chaos up to 11. In one jungle scene, he insisted on using a real cobra. No props, no CGI. The snake handlers were losing their minds, but Stallone wanted authentic fear, total death wish method acting. And that iconic M60 machine gun rampage? They used real blanks and real gunpowder. Stallone had to wear ear protection hidden under his wig, but even with that, he ended up with hearing problems for weeks. This wasn't just a movie anymore. This was a full-blown war zone. Then came Rambo 3. More explosions, more bodies, more everything. In fact, it was so over the top, the Guinness World Records named it the most violent movie ever made at the time. We're talking 108 kills, 221 acts of violence, and nearly 2.5 explosions per minute. Stallone didn't just raise the stakes, he napalmed them. Then there's The Specialist. Stallone and Sharon Stone. Steam, explosions, and zero vibes. Behind the scenes, they barely spoke. Total ice. Stallone later admitted they had zero chemistry off camera and completely different styles. She was method, he was all precision. That infamous shower scene looked hot, but Stallone called it mechanical and shot in freezing water. Nothing sexy about it. No romance, no friendship, just two A-listers grinding through a tense, cold shoot. After years of playing action gods, Stallone slowed it down for Copland and nearly broke himself doing it. To play an out-of-shape, hearing-impaired sheriff, he gained over 40 pounds, lived off pancakes and junk food, and let his body go soft on purpose. No muscles, no ego, just pure character work. It wasn't just physical either. He went toe-to-toe with acting giants like Robert De Niro and Harvey Keitel and held his own. Critics who once wrote him off as a meathead suddenly had to shut up. It wasn't a blockbuster, but Copland proved something bigger. Stallone could actually act, and he didn't need a machine gun to do it. Then came Driven, Stallone's passion project that crashed and burned. He wrote it as his Rocky of auto racing. Deep, dramatic, emotional, but it didn't exactly stick the landing. Originally, he wanted it to be about Formula One, but when F1 said no, they pivoted to kart, giving him more freedom and way more absurd crash scenes. Like that wild street race where cars fly through manhole covers? Yeah, totally unrealistic, and Stallone loved it. He wanted it larger than life. He got paid $20 million, but the movie tanked. Later, he flat out admitted, "I lost control of that movie." Then there's I See You, Stallone's darkest film, made during one of the lowest points in his life. After a streak of flops, Stallone was battling severe depression. He played a suicidal FBI agent, and he later said, "It wasn't acting. That was really me at the time. The pain you see on screen, that was real." But the studio panicked. They cut over 20 minutes, renamed it from Detox to ICU. Yes, really. Delayed the release for 3 years and dumped it straight to DVD. Stallone called it the worst studio interference I've ever experienced. A movie born from real pain, buried by the system. The Expendables was Stallone's big comeback. A love letter to 80s action, stacked with legends. But behind the testosterone-fueled chaos, straight up carnage. During one fight scene with WWE's Steve Austin, Stallone went so hard he ended up breaking his neck. Yep, real fracture. He had to get a metal plate inserted into his neck after filming. And that wasn't the only injury. Torn shoulder, bad knees, cracked ribs. Dude was basically duct taped together by the end. But it paid off. The Expendables made nearly $300 million and proved Stallone still had it. Blood, metal plate, and all. Creed wasn't just another Rocky sequel. It was a passing of the torch. This time, Stallone played the aging underdog, fighting cancer, grief, and time itself. No directing, no glory shots, just raw emotion, and it hit hard. Critics called it his most powerful performance in decades. He didn't just play Rocky, he was Rocky. And for the first time since 1977, Stallone was back at the Oscars, nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He didn't win, but by then he already had. Creed reminded the world that Stallone wasn't just an action star. He was a storyteller with heart, but just when everyone thought he'd stay in the dramatic lane, he went full throttle in the opposite direction, because in 2019, he brought back Rambo. One last time, one final bloodbath. He co-wrote it as a no-rules, mythic revenge story, calling it Rambo as Death Incarnate. Originally, it started with Rambo rescuing people during a hurricane, but Sly scrapped the entire first hour, saying it slowed the rage down. That footage, still unreleased. And when the violence hit, it really hit. We're talking guts, skull traps, a heart ripped out. So extreme, the extended cut got censored in multiple countries. Critics trashed it, called it xenophobic, tone deaf, ultra-violent garbage. Stallone didn't flinch. They hated Rocky IV, too. Look how that turned out. He even wanted Rambo to die on the porch, bleeding out like a fallen warrior. Test audiences said no. So instead, we got that final shot. Rambo riding off into the sunset, barely alive, but still breathing. Because you don't kill a legend, you just make him disappear. Rambo didn't die on that porch, but something else did. That final ride into the sunset felt like the end of an era. No more underdog, no more war machine, just a legend, scarred and silent, fading into the dust. And that's the thing about Stallone. He never needed a perfect ending, because his whole career has been a fight, a climb, a comeback. From sleeping in a bus station to rewriting Hollywood history with a typewriter and sheer willpower. He took real punches, real risks, and never backed down. Not in the ring, not on set, not in life. Sylvester Stallone isn't just a movie star. He is the movie. If this story hits you like a left hook, hit that subscribe button for more insane Hollywood deep dives. And tell us in the comments, what's your favorite Stallone moment? We read every single one.